Part 5, Software Overview and Collection Forms Software. In this part we would like to introduce you to the software overview of DPD-EASY in more detail. Let's switch to the overview. In the overview you can see the software you have recorded, as well as the essential information about the software from the forms. It is possible to record up to 51 programs. In the G column, you can disable software that you do not use. This will then no longer be displayed in the selection the other forms and in the print version. In columns H to O, you assign the business processes in which the software is used. To access the entry forms, you only have to click on the link in column C in the respective row. Now let's move on to software description and evaluation. In the upper area, you enter the basic data of the software. If the software provider has or can have access to the personal data, for example because the data is stored or processed on a server of the provider or he receives maintenance access, then a contract for order data processing must always be concluded. This is entered in the menu item processor and can be selected in line 17. Lines 18 to 20 contain information that is important for the evaluation of the software by its security and data protection. Explanations of how to select the various information can be found to the right of the form. In the next area, the risk assessment of the software takes place. The first line assesses the confidentiality of the data processed in the software. For this purpose, please also use the risk assessment of personal data in the descriptions of the processing in which the software is used. The following section assesses how high the requirements are for the integrity of the data, that means, the completeness, correctness and consistency of the data. With regard to the availability of the data and the software, the management should estimate how long it can be done without access to the data and the software. For example, if it is no longer possible to create invoices, this period must be bridged financially. The shorter the time a failure may last, the higher the need for protection and the risk. Since personal data may not be used for employee monitoring, the following area documents how this is ensured. In the next area, the results of the risk analysis are graphically illustrated in a risk matrix. The probability of occurrence is always set to very high, since in this representation it is assumed that no measures or controls are implemented to reduce the probability of occurrence of the risks. In the next area, controls that have been entered in the menu item control overview and data protection documentations that have been entered in the menu item documentation can be assigned. The selected controls show whether they are functional. The documentation shows when it should be revised for the next time. In addition, it is possible to enter a description of further measures in the text field. These controls and measures can reduce the probability of occurrence of the risks. In the next area, the evaluation of the new probabilities of occurrence takes place. In the end, all risks should be in a yellow or green marked area. If this is not the case, consideration must be given to whether further controls and measures need to be implemented or whether existing controls and measures need to be adapted. In the last area, the release of the software by the responsible functionaries is documented. Also, during the recording and evaluation, a review cycle is defined within which the software evaluation should be checked. End Part 5.